Well, I think the main issue is whether the Republican Party as a whole, which is not very unified about much of anything, decides to define itself around trying to defeat Sotomayor. Even with an effort like that, they probably won't succeed. But it's going to take some kind of collective effort and an argument. I mean, a sustained argument about why she is beyond the pale of confirmation. And that's a lot to ask of any party, and particularly one as depleted and demoralized as the current Republican Party. Well, I get the New York Times at home on old-fashioned paper, and I get the Wall Street Journal, but that's mostly for my wife. And then I mostly get it on the web after that. I have a sort of rotation of websites I go to. I have CNN.com as my sort of default. It's my homepage. I always look at Drudge. I look at Talking Points Memo. I look at Daily Kos. What else? Pointer, Romanesco, which is and Medio Bistro, TV Newser, about the cable business. Those are probably about the main sites. And then, I mean, I often find myself at night at CNN where I work, so I sort of tend to watch those shows when I'm on them. Well, I was a lawyer. I was an actual lawyer. I was a prosecutor, and I enjoyed that a lot. I guess I might have stayed doing that. I used to think about politics when I was growing up, but it's interesting, sort of had a revelation in life, which I don't have a lot of revelations, but I remember thinking at one point, well, name 5 politicians you admire. It was kind of hard. And then it was like, well, name 5 journalists you admire. And I could come up with 15 in a second. And I guess that told me something about where I thought my priorities lied. And then I just got lucky, which I strongly advise as a career plan. Well, this you probably won't believe. Neither. In fact, I am a figure of some ridicule. I do have a cell phone, so I'm always accessible, but I have not yet. I just got a BlackBerry, but I haven't hooked it up because of complicated joint email arrangements between the New Yorker and CNN, which I have not yet figured out. But I basically don't use one. What do I like most about Texas? Well, I really have to say I do love everything about Texas. I am a great buff and look for any excuse to visit. I mean, it's probably a cliche, but some cliches are true. I love barbecue, and I come and my cholesterol is always very different leaving Texas than arriving at Texas. But I also like a part of the country that is proudly its own part of the country. People here, by and large, they don't want to live anywhere else. They're proud of where they come from. There is an indigenous culture here that is different. I think the encroaching strip mallization of the whole country is really not a good development. And when you're in Dallas, you really feel like you're in Dallas. You're not in Phoenix. You're not in Detroit. You're in a place that's very distinctive. And most of my experience in Texas is Dallas, Houston, Austin. So I don't claim to be any great expert, but I like it. I wish I'd go to the track right away. No, I don't. One of the many conventions of cable news I'm uncomfortable with is sort of, well, predict what's going to happen. I'm much better at predicting what happened in the past. I almost always get those right.